Welcome to the Spirit of Life channel. This message begin right now. Evolving from the me path to the us path. Archangel Michael really loves it here. He is with every one of us anyway, but he really likes this tour. It is a good vantage point for him to protect and serve the entire Avalon area. Okay, Archangel Michael and the Star Elders are going to share what has been going on with us today. Earlier today, we were in Woodhenge, a place where the energy spiraled deep down into the earth, and this grounded us. We took a lot of time to anchor an umbilical cord really deep into Mother Earth. Now we are way up on a hilltop, and we are being tethered to the stars. This energy is moving straight up into the cosmos, into the great central Sunday. This energy is connecting us, the earth and the tour, to the great central sun, like an umbilical cord. Though faint, Woodhenge also felt like a navel spot on the earth. The earth is constantly being reborn from these navel spots. In Native American culture and in many different countries, there are places they consider the navel of the earth. The Star Elders are showing me that these navel's points, which are arranged around the planet in a grid-like form, are in very specifically areas of the earth to bring mass together to create the planets. We are creating a new earth right now and new bodies that will be free of limitations and illness. Also, abundance won't be an issue. We won't have the lacks. From Inca traditions we learn that in every dimension there are many laws of nature to which we are bound to adhere. The universe loves us, so these laws of nature are for our protection. The lower the dimension, the more laws of nature there are. When we are less evolved, we could harm ourselves without the loving restricting laws. Therefore, we are more restricted in lower dimensions because of our lower level of consciousness. This is not a judgment, it's from the universe's loving desire to protect us. As we raise up our consciousness, many laws of nature will fall away, and we will become freer and more responsible. Meanwhile, in the 3D world there are 48 natural laws that keep us safe. The more we raise ourselves up, the more those 48 laws become a burden and feel like a restriction to us. We begin to feel held back and limited. This is how the universe knows when we are ready for a shift of ages and higher dimensions. These times trigger spiritual renaissances, and we are in one right now. In these spiritual renaissances, we start working to raise ourselves in consciousness. When we do, we create a shift of an age. Then the laws of nature are reduced in number. When we fully enter the next level of consciousness, there will be only 24 laws. So there will be half the number of laws that we are living with right now. This morning the Star Elders wanted to make sure we were really grounded and anchored for this process. Thank you, Marcus, for taking us to Woodhenge, because I never would have considered this. It was just perfect because we needed to ground ourselves first, and we got our feet on the ground. This is a critical time when all we experience is brought down into the physical body and anchored to the earth. The time is over when we float up into the heavens and bliss out. It is time to get real and bring the experience here. We need to feel it, and get our essence down into our bodies. So today we went to the center of the earth, at Woodhenge, and now we are going to the center of the sky, at the tour, and it's just perfect. So now we are tethered between a new world that is emerging and the cosmos that's creating it. We are the new creators and are receiving more freedoms than ever before. We have been feeling fuzzed out and unanchored in the last 6 months, since December 22, 2012. This is because there is a huge part of us that has already left and is now in this new dimension. We are actually creating this new world now as we speak, and that's why we can feel so vulnerable. We might have panic attacks, we might have bad dreams. We are kind of split in half because part of us, our higher self, is out with a whole new construction team of light beings in the ethers creating this new world. Oddly enough, when we say it's out there, up there, it's really not. It's right here, right now. We are going to have a lot more freedom when we raise up ourselves, our consciousness. Oh, this is why we are getting panic attacks. P.S. These panic attacks have lightened up already since this message was received. Our bodies have memory, and we are used to being restricted and protected in a certain ways. The 3D laws of nature have been like our security blanket. We are losing this security, and all of a sudden there are fewer boundaries surrounding us. Our minds are staying clear, and we know that there is no reason to panic. But our bodies are reacting because they are learning to adapt and adjust to the new laws of nature. Remember, there will be only 24 laws when we fully anchor this shift, not the 48 we have lived with for many lifetimes. A part of us is busy working to create this new dimension, but it is also causing us to feel really tired and achy. We are working really hard, while seeming like we are doing absolutely nothing at all. We look like we are hanging out. A lot of us who have been on this path have done very little the last 6 months. This is because the other side, or other part, of us has been so very busy. Also, having fewer laws of nature can trigger depression, waves of really heavy, dark depression. This is because we have already started to anchor a little more in the new dimension, and our bodies are still in the old dimension. The contrast between where we are at and where we are going is big. We are so ready. Now, if we were doing this the old way, like when we did a shift in the last cycle, we would drop our bodies and would go over to the other side and be reborn. If we had shifted this cycle that way, we would have been there already. This is the root of all your frustrations and depressions right now. You remember, you think, that you should be there already. There is a part of us that is totally impatient because we are ready to leave this old dimension behind. That part of us, our spirit, is absolutely 100% ready to go. But we decided we were going to take our physical bodies with us this time and not lose the time and effort it takes to reincarnate and relearn everything. Over the ages we have used very creative and different ways to anchor our wisdom and knowledge to be picked up at a later date. Before big shifts we had anchored and locked parts of our souls in stones, into mummies, into temples, into the etheric and akashic records, only to come back around and pick them up again. This is a lot of extra work. We have already learned so much, why dump the body, anchor the wisdom and come back and get it again? In the meantime, we are half-awake souls who have huge inner self expectations to have the know-how and means to go around the world looking for what we anchored and start all over. So the idea is to take this body along with all our wisdom, knowledge intact and, most of all, the lessons. So many of us have traveled for years and years to collect all that we anchored in past cycles. As much as we love to travel and to be together, we don't want to do this over again. We are ready. No one knows at this point what the 24 laws are going to be, and what limitations will be released. So based upon the clues regarding what we are getting frustrated about, here is a checklist of things I feel that will be released, or freed up: the ability to manifest instantly, to control the weather, and to travel dimensionally and spiritually. These are all things that I know the Star Elders are able to do. The Star Elders have shared clearly about this. There will be no need for money, there won't be a need for man-made laws as well. We will all be self-responsible, thinking about the whole, not the just the self. We will know right from wrong and act from this knowing. We will not have any artificially placed boundaries around us and no country borders. We will not need the huge mechanisms of corporations that create all the stuff we need, because we will be able to manifest anything. Star portals will open, so we can go to visit our star family brothers and sisters. These portals still exist on the earth, and some of us have experienced them for short periods of time. I think maybe now we will be able to go and stay longer. We won't be limited to earth, and who knows what else is out there we might want to explore. I doubt that English is going to survive as a language. It's a dualistic language. We may not need language. We just might go back to telepathy or some other form of communication. The more we move over to the new here dimension, vibrating at a higher frequency with fewer and lessening laws, we are going to come upon these places where we might feel depressed, panic, and so forth and so on. If you have noticed, we have been weaving in and out of these symptoms like crazy for months. It will take until 2016 for the Earth to move completely out of the dark rift. As we adapt, our bodies will not panic as much, and we will not feel the depression as deeply. It will become easier as time passes. We can ask Archangel Michael right now to help us so this transition will be easier. The Star Elders are very, very clear here, that we are not going to get there any sooner than everybody else, so quit pushing, it isn't going to work. You are not going to get ahead of the collective. We are all in this together. That means everybody on this planet. We are going together. So pushing is only going to wear you out. Remember to wait for it, and with all your options open. Even if we didn't realize it, many of us have had many subconscious and even conscious expectations on the outcome of 2012. We had expectations of what 2013 would be like. Now we are having to face the reality that this is going to be a step-by-step process. This is hard but joyous work. A dimensional shift has never been done before with a physical body. I can say this now. As it has already passed, in February and March it was really iffy that we even would actually succeed. I never wrote about this because I won't write about negative outcomes, but the Star Elders were concerned. We are lucky that the future is not written but is created in each moment. They were concerned about a lot of people on the planet. Some people didn't make it, some were giving up. It was just too much void to deal with. A lot of people crossed over. Many of these are now on the other side helping build this new world, so they are not missing out on anything. We are going to catch up with them eventually. There is still work to be done. There is something really miraculous about being able to take the physical body through a shift. We are basically natural-born mammals, and to be able to rise up into an ascended form without passing over and coming back in the higher frequency is miraculous. The Star Elders say that we can't possibly conceive of what this will do to the evolution of the entire universe. We are like new little babies, and we are protected in this cocoon of light. The Star Elders are asking that we do our best to relate to all of our experiences on this journey as if we never saw any of this before. What if we didn't know that the grass is green or that the blue sky? Try to be in that place inside your heart where you imagine you are seeing everything for the very first time. If we live in this way, it will make it easier for us to adapt and absorb the new laws of nature, which we are in the process of entering into now. Archangel Michael is just kind of laughing at us saying, "Why are you guys making it so hard?" The Star Elders knew there were going to be a few ripples in the formula, and those ripples were pretty big from our perspective. I'm not seeing any concern in their eyes right now, and I'm not seeing it in Archangel Michael's eyes anymore, as well. I think we have passed the worst of the ripples. It looks like we have evolved far enough on the other side that it's not going to be as much of a problem for us. We have come all this way, so we want to see the final steps and see the new world blossom out in front of us. Some might take the easier path and just go to sleep one night and wake up the next morning and be there. We might feel like we had a funny mythical dream of some place else, but we can't quite remember it, and well, just be there. A lot of our memories will not go with us, because otherwise we would just recreate this world all over again. We don't want to do that, so a lot of memories will be erased. Some memories will emerge as myths like we have in this age. Through all dimensions there will be an orientation cord. Quite a few people on the planet will end up being storytellers of ages past because they went through the shift with their eyes open. We will talk about the old days, and it will be only a myth, as there will be very little record of this history remaining. Most of it will be wiped clean. All the evidence of a past age will be cleaned and cleared with the only evidence remaining in stone, bone, and pottery. These are in harmony with law of nature, so they do survive. This is why all the ancients built out of stone. Stone is natural to the earth, and therefore it will always be in harmony with any laws of nature of any age. But everything unnatural disappears. That's why we don't see evidence of ancient technology in ancient sites. All this technology disappears when that laws of nature are no longer in harmony with it. There's another reason why we won't have the memory of our old world. If we did have that memory, we would lose the gifts we just acquired. In other words, we won't have the memory that we couldn't time travel or we couldn't manifest apples when we were hungry. If we did remember that, we would not manifest. The very essence of this memory would limit us. So these are the memories that are going to get erased, the limitations. We will be bound to the lesser 24 laws. Remember, this is a step-by-step evolvement. Keep making choices and moving in any direction that calls you, until you find one that rises to the top, and this is the one you will take. Find the crack in the fabric of time and space, and leap through it. Tips: be present in every moment and let go of all your expectations. Anything we believe may or may not be true, our rights and wrongs, let them all go. The Star Elders are not asking us to ditch all our belief systems because some beliefs might be appropriate and some might not. But for now, take your expectations and beliefs and put them over to the side for a little while and give them a rest. When we get further down this path, then we can decide which ones we want to retain and which we will leave behind. Allow the possibility that the world that we will enter into will be beyond the miraculous that we can imagine today. The Star Elders say that we are going to be so surprised, because some of these things are beyond our comprehension in this moment. It's going to be a fun surprise. Yet they keep dangling the carrot out a little further and a little further and a little further. I know what we are sharing here is sounding like a broken record. But we know it is a broken record now. Just being aware of this means we are ready to leap. This body is precious, and it will take time to evolve it. To be able to take this body with us is a huge gift. We've got to do it a little at a time, step by step, or the body will struggle even more. This will be a huge evolutionary step for not just us, but will extend to the farthest reaches of the universe. It's huge. We are the last planet to do it. We are the last holdouts, the renegades, the rebels. We are revolutionary souls. The Star Elders acknowledge that we were courageous enough to come to this limited planetary dimension. From the unlimited place where we truly originate, this world is like the wild deep jungles or the wild frontier. We are the pioneers on a wagon train going to the new land. We are the ones that braved coming here. We braved duality and have survived all the lessons we have been moving through. We didn't like gravity and linear time, and the heaviness and the denseness of this unconscious world, yet we were brave enough to come. The rest of the universe is already a step ahead. So they really honor and respect us for doing this work. Or, as I recall it, I had a blonde moment when I saw the sign for Earth and said, yes. I want to do that. From where we stood consciously grounded in 100% awareness and unity, it seemed like a piece of cake. None of us read the fine print, and if we had, we might not have come. Now, another matter is the fact that psychics/mediums cannot see or feel the future after 2012. For those of us that have been seers their whole lives, this is a very frustrating place. The reason for this is that if we could see too far ahead, we would get in the way at this point. We really need to stay in the present moment, now more than ever. I know we have been talking about it for 30 years, just be in the present moment, be here now, Ram Dass, yes, we read the book. Let go, let God. Now we are really living these concepts. The Star Elders are going to start helping everyone out. We all need to anchor our feet to the new earth. Most of humankind feels something has definitely changed, but they can't figure it out. Many people are starting to question nearly everything. So we need stay grounded, and to discover the new foundation stone to stand on. When we get this done, we will evolve past the age of the individual, the me way to the US way, and learn to live without duality. Remember, we don't get to go, unless everyone else does as well. It's all for one, and one for all. Aluna takes some questions. Group member Carmel, what if you have this sense of urgency because you feel like you are one of the way showers, one of the people that are supposed to be a teacher and a healer, and you have to finish your own work? I recognize that you will never be completely ready, but as you know, there is such a thing as missing an opportunity. Aluna, first off, pushing it isn't working right now at all. Even making plans is very difficult. Light workers are having to go with the flow. We have all come here to get something done. We want to get to the end of this journey and look back and say, wow, we did it. We want to succeed in our spirit's calling. Know that there are no missed opportunities. It may feel like it, but those opportunities you lost because they are going in different direction than you are right now. We don't understand how they are all going to intersect at some point in time. Also, some of those seemingly missed opportunities are going in a direction that you don't want to go in anymore at all, but you may not understand this right now. Just go with the flow. Keep doing your work. Do what you feel like you need to do in each moment. If you hit a spot where it stops working, then you need to do a course correction. We are learning to walk in a new world. This is done in baby steps. A few days ago I had a dream about a bus that was racing through the universe. The bus had no windows, and it scared me because the bus driver couldn't see where he was going. That's exactly what is going on right now. We are zipping through this new energy in a vehicle called our bodies, but we can't see where we are going because we don't understand enough about it to see it. It's not in our comprehension yet. So they say to keep moving, step by step. If we hit a block, stop and find another way. When all the doors get closed, it feels like we are in a dark night of the soul, but there is a crack of light in all this space that we all must find. It's like the eye of a needle in the Bible. The door, like the eye of the needle, is very small in a very big new space. We will find this door because we aren't going to quit searching. We are all searchers and way showers. What we are looking for might be something we would not even have expected. We keep looking. It's trial and error. Marcus, people refer to the Torah as the eye of the needle quite often. Aluna, I think that's all the star elders are going to share. They never say goodbye, they will just keep talking until we shrivel up from starvation, rather than say goodbye. Laughter. But I think that's what they wanted to share here. Anyone have any more questions? Group member Denise, if we take our bodies with us, can we choose age 35? Laughter. Aluna, yes. The thing that has been aging us will disappear. You will quit aging. Even in the master teachings, they say that most ascended masters looked about age 30. Remember, the list we receive today is not a complete list but merely a short list and with many surprises ahead of us. Group member Theodora, how about shortness of memory? Aluna, don't worry about it. It's not an age thing. I'm talking to 20 and 30-year-olds that can't remember what they had for breakfast. Yes, the short-term memory thing is weaving in and out. It's getting pretty radical at this point. Remember, much of our memory will not come with us. So to continue to live in this in-between time, write down things if they are really important, because things aren't going to stick in our minds. We are going to stumble around on our words. P.S. The aging process doesn't just stop, we revert back to the prime of what we are supposed to be, and we won't remember that we were older or had a bad hip or knee. Group member Susan, will this shift be in our lifetime? Aluna, when I was a little child, the star elders told me their return and the shift would be in my lifetime. When the dimensional shift into the new world is going to happen is not based on a calendar date. It never has been. I know the Mayas knew a lot about a calendar date, and there are some correlations. However, the Maya calendar is actually a cosmic calendar. It's really not based on the rising and setting of the sun, as is the calendar we use daily. The Maya calendar actually is based on a cosmic frequency, which has nothing to do with the rising and setting of the Sunday. When we attempt to learn about the Mayan calendar, we have to use a solar date just to make sense out of it. What we actually know about the Mayan calendar is very little, but it is huge. When we can raise up our frequency enough, we will understand this more. Group member Ted, they are saying we are going to take our bodies with us. Is it the same path as the ascended masters have gone, except that the earth will come with us as well? Aluna, yes. Ascended masters transcend their bodies and manifest one at a higher frequency. The star elders don't have bodies, however, they can create them when needed. They are in a place where they can manifest in and out and look any way they want and show up at any time with pure consciousness. They don't stay here very long, though, because if they stay long enough the old 48 laws of nature will start applying to them, and they will eventually become limited and might get stuck here, as we did. How many of you feel like you got stuck here? There are a lot of us that are star elder hybrids that got stuck on this planet. You know who you are. But, yes, we are going to take our bodies, and this new world is going to be part of this earth. This earth is all natural, and it's going to stay looking like this to a certain extent. One of the things the star elders have been telling me is that radioactive dumps will disappear. All that poison that's out of balance with the harmony of the laws of nature will disappear, so we really don't have to worry about pollutions. Of course, it's a big issue right now, and we do need to take care of it out of respect and consciousness. We need to do what we can, but in the end it will take care of itself because those things can't survive in the new laws. Pollutants of any kind were purposely made out of balance with nature. That's why they make us and the earth sick. They won't survive, and we will forget they were here. I had a quick peek in a dream a few years back of the new world. But I don't think it really was a dream, I actually went there. Everything felt very pure and natural. I saw a wooden house with glass windows. There were beings there, they were taking care of me. Then the sun began to come up. I walked out the door into a beautiful canyon and was surrounded by this new plant life. I understood that everyone I knew was out there being taken care of by other beings. They are waiting for us. That's all the star elders would let me see. Read about this dream here. Group member Susan, will we need food? Aluna, in Lemuria they didn't have to eat unless they wanted to. They ate for fun, only for fun and entertainment. It was never something they had to do. Group member Susan, so we could live in castles? Aluna, sure we can. But will we want to? That is the materialistic world. If you wanted a castle, you could create it. I'll bet you wouldn't even think about this at that point. We might be happy with little cottages and being surrounded by nature. What's going to be the most important thing is community. Community is going to be the center stone, the us or we reality. Has anyone read the life and teachings of the Masters of the Far East? You can sit in meditation, create another body, go somewhere else, and people will see you while the other part of your body is sitting under a tree somewhere else. This was all in the master books. Group member Susan, so in MT Shasta, where they say there are beings in the mountains, are they doing any work there? Aluna, the Great White Brotherhood or the Brotherhood of the Seven Rays, the Star Elders, etc. Most came from this age as well. I think they have more of a clue of what's going to happen than we do, but they don't know exactly how this is going to turn out either because it's never been done before. They are the ones holding and encouraging us to do this work on the earth by helping us rise up and actually ascend the whole earth and humanity. All life on the earth needs to ascend to the next age at the same time. There have been some wobbles because all the dimensions pancake up together, all the different dimensions with different frequencies. All dimensions shift at the same time, and sometimes there are wobbles. Those wobbles are what we have been feeling. If the shift is not perfectly synchronized, it causes some interesting bumps and leaks between dimensions. So people might have some really wild dreams. About 2 months back people were having dreams where they were completely in another world. Other people were speaking a language they didn't understand, but they felt really great, and it was okay. I think we are starting to get little inoculations of that energy, so when we do get there we will be more comfortable with the energy, and it won't be a sudden change. Group member Theodora, are you familiar with star language, where sensitives speak in another tongue? Aluna, yes, there are other languages on other planets. I just know what Jeshua says about language. He is really adamant about the importance of being a real teacher and getting teachings grounded and translated. If someone is speaking a star language, but doesn't give you the interpretation of its meaning, according to Jeshua, it is really just fun spiritual entertainment. When Jeshua went to different regions on the earth he could speak their language. But this is a whole other topic. It's like whatever you take from this journey, if you can't go home and apply some of that to your life, then I have wasted your time. We want you to go home with some tools and some understandings that you can apply to your life to better yourself and your family and your community and the world. Because when we go home, we change the world with this experience and understanding. When we go home we will not be the same. We are different because we have made a conscious effort to actually raise ourselves and broaden our consciousness. So when we go home it leaks out of us like a beautiful virus that we want everyone to catch. Laughter, the star elders like the virus term because this raising of consciousness is a disease they want everyone to catch. It is beautiful, and it is full of love. It is harmony, and it is oneness. This virus is starting to catch. We are seeing it. That's why there are so many revolutions going on around the world right now. It's actually a good thing.